Hey everybody, it's Cyborg, and I am joined by Temp, and we have Year 5, Issue number 1. We are finally on the last year of this series. It's been a hell of a journey. Let's go ahead and get started. So if you have not checked out the prior issues, definitely go do so, because you're going to get spoiled. But we're going to start on a brand new year here, so right away, it kind of touches upon previous events, but let's go ahead and jump in it. Once again, Cyborg, talking with Temp. Thanks for joining us, guys. Subscribe, like the video, all that great stuff. Share the video. Share the love. Don't you want people to love our stuff too? Don't you? Please? Okay.
Love is all you need.
Love is all you need. Starting off with Superman. Busting up some glass. There's a squid laying on a platform. And some fish. He's under the sea. Under the sea. Okay, he's talking in his own mind. He wants to kill Plastic Man because Plastic Man let all the criminals go that he had captive in the trench. Haha, I remembered the name. Trench. So Cyborg is talking from the watchtower, it seems, or whatever, and Flash is running, trying to collect the criminals. He's going from city to city, like Central City and such. Now he's going to Metropolis. He finds a bunch of the criminals. He's going to stop said criminals. Looks like Killer Frost is one of them. Then we see Hal, and he's in a fight with Parasite. Parasite looking beastly over here. He's just hungry. Look at those rows upon rows of teeth. It's creepy.
Yeah. Sharkish.
Yeah, he wants to munch into Hal's body. Then we have Wonder Woman talking to her mother, and her mother says it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not her fault. So she's basically trying to tell Wonder Woman, you know what, go help Superman, because it's not your fault. Wonder Woman agrees that it's not her fault.
It's like Good Will Hunting, but with
It's
Wonder
not your
Woman.
fault. Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
yes, that is what I was going for there. And then we have Mirror Master talking with Weather Wizard, Heatwave, and Golden Glider down in the catacombs.
This was the highlight for me. This was my favorite part by far.
It is good stuff. So those four are talking, and they're wondering, what should we do? Should we go after Superman? We kind of like living, and we don't want to, die or get put back in a trench-like environment, the prison. So they're wondering if they should even do it. But then they decide, yeah, you know what, we might as well go for it. And Batman shows up and he's like, hey, sounds like a yes. So then he wrangles them all up and they are going to get to work. We cut back to Flash and he is battling all of them. He's getting a little overwhelmed. Killer Frost, it looks, is finally slowing things down. But as she does it and is freezing the Flash, Superman shows up and ruins everyone's day. They all immediately give up because they know they're screwed. Flash takes care of the rest, ties them all up in a nice little red bow. Meanwhile, on top of the Umbrella Factory, of course, we see, no, not actually on top of the Umbrella Factory, we see Doomsday in space. He lives to kill Superman. He lives to kill Superman. He lives to kill Flash. He just immediately demolishes Flash's leg and his back. He is in a compromising position on the ground, screaming in pain. And yeah, so he destroys Flash's legs. He just beats on him like Rick James. And then he tells Superman that he is going to kill him, and that's where we leave the first chapter. We pick up on the second chapter, kind of taking a side break from that, with Batman and Catwoman having a nice coffee at some diner in France. So basically the ending of The Dark Knight Rises. Spoilers.
Yeah.
So they're having a nice little meeting. Bruce has a nice mustache going on, so he looks like his father with the mustache and the glasses. It makes me think of Thomas Wayne. But anyways, they're kind of both in there, somewhat disguised to obviously lay low. He tells Catwoman, you know what, I want you to lead these criminals. She's saying, should we trust them? He's saying, yeah, we can trust them because they're predictable. And he wants her to lead them because obviously she's the most like them, so to speak. They'll respect her, even though they may not trust either one of them. And the reason why I should kind of jump back here, the reason why he's going, teaming up with the rogues, why he's okay with that is because they do live by a code and they are not okay with killing. They do
Which I
have,
liked. I didn't
yeah,
know that.
they have their own boundary themselves. We cut back to Superman fighting off Doomsday. We see Livewire in the background. Looks awesome. And he's fighting Doomsday back and forth, back and forth. He tells Livewire not to try to escape, and she said, wouldn't dream of it. Meanwhile, he has this creepy looking, glowy red eyes. Looking back at her, he's fighting Doomsday, They're just destroying buildings, so we have the Man of Steel. Many people will be upset. Then we also get a million advertisements on all the buildings. Just kidding. That would just be a Man of Steel thing. And then we continue on with Hal fighting off Parasite, and all of a sudden, Cyborg shows up, starts blasting him with lasers, and Hal explains, you know what? He'll eat those lasers. He'll also eat metal. And he's just explaining, you guys don't understand. I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. I'm unhappy because I'm eat, and I eat because I'm unhappy. So
He does seem unhappy.
yes,
It doesn't seem terribly.
and they're going back and forth, kind of explaining Parasite and how ridiculous he is and how to stop him. And he counters back saying, I can hear you guys, right? I thought that was great. So, yeah, they go back and forth. Hal and Cyborg are trying to figure out what to do. He asks him if he has any ideas, and Cyborg says, nope. And he says, awesome. So then Superman and Doomsday fight. They fight and fight and fight and fight and fight. They fight. The Superman and Doomsday Show. Okay, and then it leads to them, I think, fighting all the way to Gotham. And Superman's accusing Doomsday, or he's questioning Doomsday, saying, who sent you? Who sent you? Who put you up to this? Was it Batman? Was it Batman? Did he put you up to this? And then he gets punched into oblivion, up into space, and then he lands in Gotham. So that's how they get to Gotham. And Superman gets punched all the way across that. Of course, Gotham and Metropolis are just a sea apart, except for they're not in the comics. That was just a Batman vs Superman thing. And I will just put another check mark by the movies I'm referencing. And Superman keeps fighting Doomsday, destroying everything around him. They have no regard for the citizens around him because at this point Superman doesn't give a shit, so there's that whole thing going on, so there's no reason to hold back anymore. And then we see a badass image of Bane saying, looks like I'm not too late for the party, and he has this kind of getting his fists ready to dominate, and he looks badass. And it's worth mentioning that's the end of the chapter, which is the end of the issue. It's worth mentioning the art in this issue is actually really good. Like, it is fantastic art.
Yes, I would agree.
So, one issue into year 5, it's okay. It's honestly okay. I thought this issue had its decent points. I mean, it had a lot of action, not as much storytelling, but it did have a little bit of storytelling. But yeah, I think the strongest part about the issue is the art is some of the best in the series. Like, the actual drawing style looks really good. So
it actually reminds me a lot of Year One. It reminds me a bunch of Year One in terms of just like the atmosphere, the dialogue, the writing. It feels very Year One to me again, which I don't know why I expected that, but I guess I did kind of expect that.
So what are your thoughts on Superman trying to wrangle up all the criminals?
I think it's fun. I mean, I think as far as storytelling goes, I'm glad the annual means something. I'm glad it's relevant to the next year. That's really cool. I didn't know Flash's rogues had a line. I did not know they were not killers. I figured they were just scumbags. So when Batman's recruiting them because they do have sort of an honorary code, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I dig that aspect too. So,
was that true? Is that true?
I don't know. I don't read Flash comics, so I couldn't tell you for sure whether that's like a standard thing or if this is just an Injustice thing. Not really sure. I like to think it's a standard thing. I mean, I can't say that I've ever seen them kill anybody, but it
makes his villains more interesting. It makes me want to read Flash comics.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely gives them more depth and layers than just being typical, we're going to kill everybody. It's better to think that they just want to beat up Flash and maybe like tie him up somewhere. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with that.
And speaking of villains, there's a really good art where they're all surrendering to Superman, and it shows that the Typhoon just looking. Yeah, he looks so ridiculous to me. But yes, overall pretty good art. Not too much to say. I mean,
It was
Superman fighting Doomsday. Yeah,
Yeah, it was very actiony, and yeah, we got some small bits of story progression. I'm with you in that I like that they followed up with the annual. It's nice because it also means that we're probably going to get a lot of those characters back that we saw in the prison. So we may see some characters we didn't think we'd ever see again, like a Livewire or a Parasite. So that's really cool, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here, see what other villains get in the fray. Plus, we have Bane on the way. It's nice to actually see Bane. I mean, the part of the best thing about moving to a new year in this series is you're guaranteed to get an influx of new characters added in,
yeah.
which is tremendous because it keeps it that fresh feeling. Plus, if you're a fan of some of these characters like Bane or what have you, it gives you gives you some excitement to see them finally in the comic.
They look good too. It's in the costumes I preferred from the games. So far, everyone looks good.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe we'll get more Plastic Man because Superman is trying to find and kill Plastic Man. So
that would be. I have a feeling we won't. If I had to wager, I would say we won't. But that would be sick. I am hoping that's what happens.
That he kills him?
No. That we get more Plastic Man.
Oh, okay.
Although if we do get more Plastic Man, I will wager again and say they'll probably kill Plastic Man.
No.
I don't want him to. I'm not saying I want him to come back. He's probably the most I've had in Injustice and
Injustice 2.
Gosh,
he's got to be in the game.
No, let's not get crazy
yes,
here.
Come on,
let's not get insane here. No.
I went a little crazy there at the end. But we'll leave it off there, guys. On to issue 2 tomorrow for you guys, and we are on the final year, and the Injustice 2 comic series is going to be starting up soon. We're not that far away. I think it's April 11th or something. We're closing in. We got to finish this series for you guys. Got a few issues left, obviously, to go, but we're getting there. And on that note, guys, take care. We will see you tomorrow.
Peace.
Adios.